Happening right now, Hurricane Ian is making its way to the Carolina coast.
And in its wake, it's leaving millions of Floridians in the dark, hundreds of thousands of homes and buildings underwater. We're going to dig into what to expect over the next few days.
Starting with Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley, you've been tracking this storm for days now.
Yeah, and I wish I could say I liked the way that it has been trending, but unfortunately it's done two things. It's trended to be a little bit of a stronger storm, and it started to make a curve toward us in the triad in the forecast. So let me show you what I mean. This is the latest on where the storm is. Now, it's much more disorganized than it was yesterday. Of course, it's weaker. We've had some dry air get in there, but it's still strong. It has winds at 75 miles per hour, which does make it a borderline hurricane, just stronger than a tropical storm. It's forecast to curve north and then northwest toward us by tomorrow. So this is a Friday storm. I don't want to show too much of that cone though, because the storm is hundreds of miles wide, not just a single point on the map. So let's start you out hour by hour. Right now, what you've noticed outside is it's already pretty breezy and clouds are thickening up. That'll continue tonight. No harm with that. And in the morning, honestly, it's not that bad outside. We'll see light to moderate rain to begin, and it gets a little bit windier. Here's where things go downhill. Lunchtime, we see heavier rain bands move in. Then the evening especially, that's some of the heaviest rain. This is really tough stuff to drive in. Torrential rainfall is expected late tomorrow afternoon into the evening and then winding down after midnight. Now, with those heavy rain bands, you also have the highest wind gusts that we're going to have to deal with. And best estimates right now, not a big deal in the morning, gusting around 30 miles per hour. But watch this. This is that middle of the day, gusting around 50 miles per hour right around dinner time into the evening hours. It will get better after midnight as the storm has some chance to weaken and it pushes north and west. But bottom line, we kind of get a 1-2 punch here. We have really bad rain, and we're also going to have bad enough winds to help create some power outages and downed trees. Now, hopefully not too many of those, but honestly, with what I'm seeing here, I think we're going to have to deal with a good amount of that. It's also cold throughout the day. Temperatures will be in the 50s. The good thing about that is it prevents tornadoes. We do not have a tornado risk here in the Triad of North Carolina for tomorrow, but we do have that wind risk, which means we have the power outage risk of scattered outages, and the flood risk is very real. That big red area from the landfall position all the way up through southern Virginia means a good chance of flash flooding throughout the day. We could see 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. That's about a month's worth of rain just in a single day. And keep in mind, as I said, that wind field is very big on that storm. That yellow represents all of the tropical storm winds outside of that system. It extends for hundreds of miles. I know it sounds like I have no good news. Bottom line, make sure you're prepared. Charge everything up. We'll be okay with the power outages if you have those supplies ready to go, but also make sure that you're bringing in the debris that can fly around outside. That will serve you well. The good news is that Saturday into Sunday, we're going to see better conditions. Only scattered showers remain for Saturday and Sunday. I don't expect anything severe on those days.
Other good news is that we've got Tim to walk us through all of this and help us make sense of it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that was a whole lot of information, Tim, and I know people were probably like yelling to their, people in their house, hey, come over here, watch this, listen to this, so they missed some of that. So what are the 3 things that we all need to take away from this?
Sure. Number 1, we're going to have heavy rainfall, which could result in flooding. Like I said before, 2 to 4 inches of rain. We usually get 2 to 4 inches of rain in a month. In fact, I just went back in the last couple of years here in the Triad. The last time we had 4 inches of rain was with Hurricane Michael and Hurricane Florence. Before that, Hurricane Matthew. Doesn't happen that often, so we're likely to have some flooding and some trouble spots. The other concerns would be gusty winds and things like power outages. Obviously, winds on their own is something that we watch for, but it's the downed trees which can down some power lines that we want to avoid. I do think at this point, it's trending more likely that we're going to have to deal with some power outages. I don't know how many thousand of them, but there will be several that we're dealing with this time tomorrow.
So thankfully the tornado risk is low, but what about lightning? A lot of people freak out with storms because of that.
Yeah, another good question. So we actually don't expect any lightning in our area either. The colder temperatures, and I'm trying to emphasize, really chilly day, 50s, you don't get enough upward motion in the atmosphere and you don't create those charge separations to create lightning strikes. So bottom line, no thunderstorms, no tornadoes, just a lot of rain and a lot of wind.
All right, good to know.
Well, thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate it.
Sure.
You know, earlier we showed you some video of the flooding that this storm has left behind in Florida. While we're not going to see anything that bad here, there could be some level of flooding still in the triad. You just heard Tim say. Here's what you need to know if you've got to get out and drive in the storm. Flooded roads might look passable, but let this soak in. The Greensboro Fire Department says just 6 inches of water can stall your car and cause you to lose control. A foot of water can cause a small car to float, and 2 feet can wash away most vehicles. Rescue crews say if you see water on the road and you're not sure how high it is, don't chance it.
We'll never try to drive through that moving water, and that's what we see a lot of. Never try to walk through moving water. Never try to swim through moving water.
But if you do find yourself stuck,
the first thing you want to do is try to back up, and you want to go in reverse and get out of that water. If there's no way to do that, we want you to stay where you're at.
that's when you need to call 911 for help.
If the water starts to come inside of the vehicle and it's rising at a level where you can't get out, what we're telling our residents is we want you to get out of the vehicle and get onto the roof of the vehicle.
No, you're not just putting your own safety at risk. Philip Huffman with AAA Carolinas says the most common damage he finds in cars after storms comes from driving in flooded areas.
We misjudged the water. So everything looks wet, but if there is enough water there to actually hydroplane the car, there's enough water there to do damage under the car.
If your engine gets flooded, that can cost you anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000. We don't have that kind of money right now. Just stay at home if you can. There are some things you can do ahead of tomorrow. Our weather team is expecting scattered power outages in the triad. So make sure your devices are all charged up and any external power sources are also charged. You want to find those flashlights. If you don't have one, you might want to run to the store. And lastly, because we're expecting heavy wind gusts, make sure you put away or tie down any outdoor furniture.
Well, of course, we've been able to track Ian all the way from the storm's growth to that Category 4 hurricane and then back down to the tropical storm and back up to the hurricane status. All of this thanks to the hurricane hunters that literally fly into the middle of the storm. How do they do that, and what are they doing while they're inside that storm? Well, it's all about the science.
Hurricane hunters provide a lot of information about a storm, but how do they even get inside a storm? Well, they're flying a plane called a WC-130J, like this one. It's a modified version of the C-130 plane that you might see dropping that red stuff on the fires out west. These planes, they are tough. They can fly for longer periods of time. They can really take a beating. The airborne science missions are run by the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, which has been flying into storms since 1944. In the cargo section of the plane, there are 2 different pallets of computer systems that take all the data from the sensors on the plane's exterior to help determine what's going on inside the storm. The hunters also drop these parachute-type sensors, which float through the storm, relaying info about a storm's pressure, wind speed, and direction. The information all comes together, gets processed, and is then shared through the National Hurricane Center for us to share with all of you.
And of course, Team 2 is going to be here every step of the way to help guide you through.
Make sure you don't miss any alerts by downloading our News 2 app and turning your notifications on.